Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thanks for watching and listening. My name is Chris, and I'm here with Jim McCormick and producer Dave. Dave can't say hello to you, but Jim McCormick can. Hi, Jim.
Hi, yeah, how's it going? You know, just not even sure what happened last week. Let's just not worry about that. It's not the biggest week in the week. It's just a week.
We're going to talk a little bit about that. But first, ole, 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 Argentina.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure.
That's what I'm going for. Yeah, a little bistecca.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right, so we are here to preview Week 14 in the NFL. In the fantasy world, it's in most leagues the last week of the regular season, heading into the playoffs. In the NFL world, it's funny that there's actually kind of not that much drama in the NFL playoff picture. Like, there's a bunch of kind of like so-so teams contesting for like the last wild card or something, but a lot of the drama feels like we know who the contenders are. None of them are really like teetering at all, and almost like, okay, could the Chiefs totally blow it and lose home field? Okay, I still kind of don't believe it. Like this almost weirdly feels like a settled regular season to me.
It does, yeah. Like the parity feels like it's set in. It's like filtered at the top. Like, I mean, obviously there's a big statement last week by a certain team, but in general, like parity feels like it's here. I would say we'll talk about it, but I think that Bills that's the impact game of the week, like that Bills Kansas City game. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a big one. We will get to it. I don't know what you're talking about because I also looked like a fool in the Eagles game against the 49ers. Like, it was so bad. Like, we record this before I record the Cousin Josh segment on the podcast. I know you love Cousin Josh, as who wouldn't? Everyone does. And Josh, I always ask him his favorite bet of the week, his favorite wager of the week. And he's like, wait, quick question. Is this line wrong? How are the Eagles a home dog? And, like, the three of us were so smug, and really, me being smug it's a stretch. Like, who would ever think that's possible? And we were positive the Eagles should have been favored in that game, and I was not right.
Unless it's the I mean, we get smuggled with the Cardinals somehow. It's like the team we get smug with. So, you know,
I got them right last week.
You did.
Yeah.
You did.
All right, so we're gonna go game by game and just talk about what we think about these games from a football perspective, and then also, of course, we'll make some picks against the spread. I want to thank DraftKings for sponsoring. We'll get to them, talk about them a little bit more in just a second. We're gonna start with let's go quick with this Thursday night game because my little heart I don't think can take it. It would have been bad enough if Kenny Pickett was playing for the Steelers, hosting the Patriots, the stupid footy pajama Patriots on Thursday night. But it's worse than that. It's Mitch Trubisky. The over/under is 2. This is just not going to be good. Are you going to watch this game?
Isn't it over/under for this like 30.5 or something insane like that, like, or whatever it was? I saw something about it that was historic. I am going to watch it just out of Schadenfreude for like both sides. It's that sweet joy of just like that. I want like a 6'3" barn burner, just like balls bouncing all over the place. Honestly, the thing is that Tom Brady's going to take this take over his GM in April, and not the Patriots. I mean, like some robotic like credit score app, you know, like called like non-Ponzi. But seriously, but like the Patriots are in trouble. The Steelers are in trouble. The fact that the Steelers like ex quarterback, like I saw Mason Rudolph chants on Twitter already. Like, this is where we are, you know.
Mitch Trubisky's head is a perfect cube. I challenge everybody to watch this game, and when he takes his helmet off, he could be rendered by like a 1987 Commodore 64. It's a perfect cube.
He is, yeah. He's like a Val Kilmer understudy, like that came in like from a Nintendo, like a Nintendo 64 made him. He's a Val Kilmer, like Nintendo 64.
This is the best way to talk about this game. Just talk about who all the people are. Bailey Zappi reminds me of Zelda from The Legend of Zelda. No, like, I don't know.
I already said he's a 3/4 knuckleballer for the 83 Athletics. So yeah,
that's right. Exactly.
Yeah.
By the way, the Steelers are favored by 6, and they probably, with Mitch Trubisky, shouldn't be favored by 6 over anybody, but that's not nearly enough points.
Yeah. I'm still, the Patriots are this bad. They're playing this poorly.
Yes.
They're really down all of their impact players, too. Like, they really are missing, like, everybody that's good about them, like Judon and Gonzalez and several linemen and just
Ramondre.
Their soul. Yeah, Ramondre's now out.
Demario.
And
Yep. Yeah.
It's just bad. I mean,
Steelers.
Yes,
all day long.
Yeah.
You're finally seeing
Steelers.
there were some weeks there where you were like, this is too many points. I have to take the Patriots
Yeah.
here. You're finally seeing the way clear to they're not going to cover again this year.
They're
whatever
going to get
the
a
line
really
is.
high draft pick. They're going to get a very high draft pick. Yeah.
They are.
Yeah.
And someone other than the current administration will be making that pick. The Texans, my best bet of last week. We are thrilled to have that one come through. Barely. Russell Wilson throwing an interception in the end zone. Thanks, Russ. They are going to New York, and it's Zach Wilson is returning. This is comedy. The thing is, the Jets, if nothing else, they are the funniest franchise in the league, and they have been for 35 years. You don't find consistency like this with Babe freaking Ruth. Like, they are hilarious no matter what. Like, one American flag, one torn Achilles, 3 Zach Wilsons. That's all I want.
They try to, like, return soup after they've had some. They're like, the Jets are incredible. They really are. They're just like, we only had a little bit. It wasn't that good. It's like, dude, you have half of the soup, okay? Like, they'll just eat half the matzo soup. Like, that's who the Jets are. Think about when the 300 guy, when the coach when he has to go back into like the meeting room and be like, listen, we're going back to Zach, all right? And he does like a Val Kilmer like thing. He does his Val Kilmer routine, and he's just like, we're gonna drive fast and furious, and everybody's like, yeah, we get it, okay? Like, and it's just. And they're all on a bus, like, in the middle of New Jersey. And it's just, it's not working for me anymore. I know it's like you look back, like, I think Zach Rosenblatt, he's a good beat guy for the Jets. I've, like, known him for a long time since his Eagles days. And he had a stat. They're the lowest EPA per drive in offense in, like, the last 723 examples. Like, going back to 2000. It's not just the third down stuff. It's just every down. Like, it's an historical amount of badness. That's why this line surprised me. But it's one of those ones that I was close enough on. I had it -6. It would surprise me that it was this high. I actually thought there was going to be a gap.
It's actually gone down since I sent you the line.
Okay.
It's actually, I mean, it's 3.5 right now.
It's
so,
3.5. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to give the points then. Yeah.
I'm going to give the points too. Yeah, I mean, the great defense. Like, it's sad. I'm sure the defenders in that team hate the offense, like hate Zach Wilson. And probably the person who reportedly the person who objected the loudest to Zach Wilson being tabbed again for the 3rd time was Zach Wilson. He's like, no, man, no, I don't really want to play. And they were like, you want to play ever again in the league, you probably should not say no to your coach. Somebody got through to him because apparently at first he was refusing. I prefer not to play. Don't blame him. Houston's going to kill him. Let's take a break, and first of all, I forgot off the top, because I'm a pro, to congratulate our winner, our winning poster from last week. And Jim, you weren't on the call when Dave told me this. It was Mark Lott, okay? But Mark didn't want to do this like, I'm just going to pick one favorite and just like, that's all, just one favorite. He posted two favorites, 2 games, and got both of them right. How come Mark Lott's not hosting this show, Jim? That's what I don't understand.
Because he had to cut up part of his finger off to play the one game. Is Mark Lott, Ronnie Lott, and Mark Lott. So.
Wow, this is we now are getting a little insight into the connective tissue of your mind. He picked the Rams. He picked the Packers. He was right on both. Good job, Mark Lott. And we're going to ask you by the end, like when you hear us talking about these and we're making our picks against the spread, post. We just want you to post in general. It helps the video get more visible if you post, and it helps Dave feel like he's got a purpose in life if you post. So we're going to ask you your best bet to post in a little bit, but I want to thank DraftKings for sponsoring, because without DraftKings, we would not be sitting here doing the show. If you're looking for a place to play the games in moderation, please use moderation. But if you're looking for a place to play the games, if I could play at DraftKings, I would. I don't live in a state where that's allowed. When I go back to Massachusetts, you better believe it. It's not football season, but I do use DraftKings there. Jim and Dave both live in states where it's allowed. If you live in one of those magic states, you should download the DraftKings app and sign up using the code HarrisTube, all one word. If you do that, make one $5 bet. You'll get $150 in bonus bets instantly, right away. That means pronto. You get it right then. You can spread it around. You can mess around, not too much. Like don't mess around too much. But it does help us out if you prove that sponsoring this show worked. If you'd like to see us back again next year, download that DraftKings app. Use the code HarrisTube, make one $5 bet. You'll get $150 in bonus bets. Thank you very much to DraftKings for sponsoring. All right, so yeah, I should have mentioned that I sent you guys these lines a little early on the day that we record because I had to go play golf. So I'm gonna hit you up with a couple of changes as we go. There are like 3 other games that have little tweaks, but the next one is not one of them. As of our recording this, the Rams and the Ravens. Your number 1 seed, Baltimore Ravens, they are home against the Rams, and they are, in fact, a 7-point favorite. What I wanted to ask you about this, Jim, is Cooper Kupp is clearly not right. He scored a touchdown last week, but he's not right. Does that, in your mind, devalue the Rams to the point where they shouldn't be in the playoffs, they won't get to the playoffs, they're worth less as a playoff team if they make the playoffs? Is Cooper Kupp their most important player?
Yes. Yeah, he's because he's the game changer. Puka's great, and there was even plays last week where it's as crazy as it was. He left a lot of yards on the field. There was that 45-yard catch and run that he had that was a crazy basically a wide receiver screen.
Yeah.
That got called back on a questionable holding call. Who cares? My point is, bigger days could have been there for Puka, but Kupp puts those together in the first half kind of thing. So, extreme Kupp is gone, and that's the problem. So I think the game changer part, because they needed the complementary part, they needed the Puka the whole time. They always had that in a way with Robert Woods, Bobby Trees. But yeah, I think it's huge that he is the dynamic part that's missing from them, and sadly, it's not there.
I think you're dead on, and what's so funny is that Puka has a really big game, and people see it on their fantasy team, and they see it in the box score. They were losing at the half. They looked totally moribund. I mean, Pyper, you probably can attest to this. It looked like it was done. It looked like it was over. And what do? Again, for the 4th time this year, and a big interruption because of injury, they just go, Kyren Williams, could you please do something about this? And it's Kyren Williams, not Cooper Kupp and not Puka Nacua, who's the most important offensive player on that team right now, and I think that's a bad thing. Kyren Williams, he's having a great year, and bless his heart, but I don't think that should be your best player.
No, and not against this linebacker team. I have this football team that I root for that doesn't have linebackers. With whereas that is what Patrick Queen, God bless him, but he's not the thing there. Roquan Smith is there. They really did invest there. What I'm trying to say is to speak to this matchup. That's not great because I guess where they're refunneling themselves in this Cooper Kupp question and the tangent with Williams, I don't love it. I think this line is pretty appropriate. So yeah, not to pivot to that, but that's
no, it's fine. I'm gonna say it's appropriate too because I called it beforehand. I said this is gonna be 7, and it's 7. So here it is, the only one. The wuss out. I'm not making a pick. I wouldn't play this game with your money, Jim, and I would do almost anything with your money.
Yeah, I had it at 7, and I'm going to take it because I actually think, first of all, Stafford and Lamar, they're so hard to separate because they're the same guy. Stafford is if Lamar found lacrosse, he's lacrosse Lamar, you know what I mean? If Lamar got distracted early, but no, also to speak to the linebacker thing that we just talked about, the Rams don't have them, and Lamar might just do what he wants, so yeah.
So you're going to give those points.
Once he gets past that Aaron Rodgers level, it's whoop, and he's out. All
right, you like Baltimore. I'm abstaining. I would prefer not to pick. It's me and Zach Wilson. The Carolina Panthers really could have beaten Tampa last week. I didn't know anything about that game until I watched it on Monday, and I was like, does Carolina win this game? And they almost did. They had a lead in the second half for the first time in 10 weeks. They're going to New Orleans. As of our recording this, we suspect Derek Carr might not be at quarterback. Please, by all that is merciful in the NFL, there's a lot of things that are sad, but can we get one fun Jameis Winston game? Can we get one game where he tries to eat a W mid-play? Is that asking too much?
No, and have it just be double mic'd, triple mic'd, he'll hold a mic. He doesn't care. I seriously, give him a Call of Duty mic. I just would love the whole thing. It'd be exciting, a Halo headset.
Yeah.
But the 5-point spread in this game is almost if a big actor, if Tom Cruise does an Apple movie that no one's ever gonna see, and you get so it's that's what I mean. That's what a 5-point spread against. Yeah, exactly. It's just action phase, and it's just all right. Well, that's -5 at home against the Panthers. That's what you get. This is the SAT. When you fill out the SATs, you get 5 points against the Panthers at home.
Well,
You know what I mean?
I mean,
Like,
yeah. Tell me this though. We've covered this, so we don't need to talk too much about it. Saints defense not particularly good anymore.
They've been teetering and falling apart, and no more pressure, and like no more there.
People are running on them. Not good. Offense, I mean, Derek Carr's terrible, and Jameis Winston's probably worse. Taysom Hill should be the quarterback for heaven's sake. I don't fear that the Saints shouldn't be a 5-point favorite at home against anybody. I'm taking Carolina.
Yeah, I had this -3.5.
Well,
so
you and me, buddy, we're going over the falls together.
I just don't believe him. Yeah, I'm just never gonna watch that Tom Cruise movie. So that's kind of my point. Yeah,
never watching it. All right, we all got to see Jake Browning play against the Jags. That was a shock because if you saw him play against the Steelers, did not look like the same human being. How do you react as just a football fan to the idea that something that good, and Jake Browning was that good. They play the Colts this week, the Bengals do at home. That you could go from like, we expected the Steeler game, we expected that to be bad. And now you get this is it an outlier? That's what I'm getting at. Like when you see somebody do something real, and Jake Browning was great in that game, legitimately like hard throws, going to his third read, like getting rid of the ball when he needed to. Like it was awesome. He looked like a starting quarterback in the league. Do you just like say, I need to say it 4 more times, or do you feel like you get willing to buy it because he's proven it's in his bag?
It's enough in his bag that like he did some cool stuff there. Like that
really
was not
did.
like he like so to talk about in his bag. It's almost like like watching a guy like in a golf tournament, and you're like, all right, he had a couple great shots, and then when he just keeps like doing it and like he's outsmarting the course, there's something there. It's just that, like, their floor, I guess, is high with a chase. I mean, they were doing some wild stuff there with the passes. But, like, the point is, like...
The first quarter was a bunch of 1-yard passes. But after that, it was pretty good. Like,
and they went downfield, and they started to, like... I don't know. Like, I know... what's his name? T. Higgins didn't really do anything. I understand that.
There was that slant where he took a huge, massive hit. It was a good throw.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, but I'm saying, like, volume-wise, like, he just was kind of, like running wind sprints out there. But it doesn't matter. Like, they can still move the ball. I like the points here at home. I like taking the points. Like, there's enough there. I mean, like, I guess my Minshew thing is he's just, like, it's like Southern for mistake. It's like, you made a Minshew. Like, it's just like a quick mistake that you didn't mean to do. Like, did you steal gum at the store? Did you do a Minshew? Like it's just like a rash mistake that you didn't want to do. You know what I mean? That's a Minshew.
And yet we're pretty consistent on this show of disrespecting the living hell out of the Colts. Like we think they're going to lose every week. We picked Tennessee against them last week. It felt like not exactly justice how that thing worked out, but maybe we're just underestimating I don't think we're underestimating Minshew. I think that's fair. He is what he is. The thing is, like the long pass to Pierce in overtime, the great throw. Like it was the
first one was great too.
Yeah. Like he can pull out great throws, but man, the one where he's in the red zone before halftime and just running around in circles in the back. Yeah. Did you guys teach him that in Philadelphia? Because
it's just like Bluetooth Baker Mayfield. He's just like, got it connected, gotcha boy. It's just like it's not good.
So this is my way of saying I'm sort of with you. I think it's a little more real than fake what I saw with the Bengals, and maybe that's a mistake to just we should be making them show it to us again. But I'm going to take the point at home. It's 1 point, and we're on the same side there. All right, the aforementioned Gardner Minshew sometimes takes the form of Baker Mayfield, and he plays for Tampa Bay. They're going to Atlanta. That line actually has changed since I sent you many hours too early. That line is now Falcons -1. And the Falcons in New York didn't exactly rise to the occasion for us, but I think that's largely because they saw what was going on the other sideline and just didn't push the envelope at all. It was the game plan for Atlanta was like 7 deep shots to Kyle Pitts, and that's it. Not the game plan I would have chosen, and they wind up not covering as a result. So obviously the DraftKings and the other bookmakers out there think these teams, the Falcons and Buccaneers, are very close. Do you agree?
Yeah, they're both pretty close. I would think the difference is that they both have bad quarterbacks, and one team really relies on their bad quarterback, which is the Bucs. They meaning they need him to do things. Whereas like Ritter, it's like almost like it's an elimination diagnosis. They're like, we don't know what he has. We've given him every test, but we know he's not a quarterback. You know what I mean? Like there's this. he has not been able yet to perform quarterback things. Like, he had a couple throws last week.
Baker Mayfield's been a lot better than Desmond Ridder this year, though, hasn't he?
Oh, no, that's what I mean. But, like, so he has been a lot better, but also, like, his responsibilities are just higher, I guess is what I mean. And, like, the load he carries, the influence I think he has on his team, this guy is going to hand off, like 35 times. I know Algier had a season low in snaps, but, like, they still had the ball out there all the time. They had Cordell Patterson doing weird stuff. They're just going to do that. They are who they are. They're like the third lead in a Coen Brothers movie. They're just like, all right, I'm the angry German guy. Like, they know what they are. Like, they're never going to win. They're not going to be that special, but you'll be like, all right, character actor. That's the Falcons. Whereas, like, the Bucs sometimes think they're going to be, sometimes they're trying to take over the movie, and it doesn't work. It's really Mike Evans and nobody else. Godwin looks a little ouchied. I don't know. Yeah.
Is it crazy for me to watch the Buccaneer games and see teams running on them the past 2 weeks and think this is all Levante David? Like, this whole thing is held together by Levante David?
It's just like kind of what happened, not kind of, what happened with me philosophically and also on tape with the Saints. Marcus Lattimore was like, I'll guard this entire side of the field. You do that. And then he's hurt, and it's just like, hey, that's gone. And everybody's running around, and it's just like, you know, the one manager on that, like in this really bad target left, and now it's mayhem, you know? So
I'm sure the Atlanta area has no bad targets, though. I'm sure they're all fantastic.
They're popping. They're amazing.
I'm going to give the point. I have the Falcons -1 here.
Yeah, I'm giving the points. I had them at -3 for this game. I think they just like know who they are more, and like you said, with Levante hurt, I just think Devin White like runs into things and not offensive players. So yeah,
not in a good way.
Like guards. Yeah,
All right, so now the Jags. As of our recording this, we suspect that there's no Trevor Lawrence for this visit to Cleveland. Trevor Lawrence strategically staying away from the city of Cleveland. Just not going to go any further than that because Dave can do something mean to my ears probably. The Browns, I assume they're going to play Joe Flacco again. Flacco played fine. He's not the reason they lost. The reason they lost is because of that defense. Not being able to stop the Rams and not being able to stop Kyron Williams in the second half. That is alarming. And if I were going to tell you who's better between Kyron Williams and Travis Etienne, I think I would probably say Travis Etienne. I get it. The Browns have been banged up on defense. Denzel Ward hasn't been playing. It looks like maybe they're going to mostly be healthy in this game. It's also potentially a really bad weather game, and C.J. Beathard, a.k.a. the Boatyard, may be playing. It's a lot of ways we could go here. I trust you so much when it comes to defense. Am I missing something with the Browns defense? Like, this was an unimpeachable best defense in the league. You know, suddenly now it hasn't been lately. Can we get a sense? Is it just injuries?
Some of it, yeah. I mean, Garrett also has like a shoulder thing that I think some guys wouldn't be playing through. You know, like MRI worthy and don't know what's going on there. You're not going to find that out from a guy like him anyway. He'll just like play. I don't know what the effects are, but they're also like that really high like snap. They're like a Jim Schwartz defense. That's what he's there. He runs his guys like 800 snaps, and he's just like keep going. So there is an NBA factor to it, like a Thibs factor. They'll joke about like where he's just known for running his guys down, and maybe that's what's happening. I don't know, but it's starting to add up. Like some attrition has hit that defense, and they're kind of. It's happened all over the league, but they're like one of the more fragile, like has multiple $12 million defenders, and when they're hurt, it's not great. You can't replace those guys.
Did you see the play? It was Puka's long play. It was Puka's long touchdown, where they have two safeties back. The Browns do on defense, and I talked about this on the podcast. At the snap, both safeties ran to the sideline. And this is not covered because then a linebacker ran in reverse backwards up the field trying to cover Puka, right. and they were blitzing. So the idea was we're going to get to Stafford before you can.
He reaches right.
And I guess they blocked it because they didn't get to Stafford, and Puka was against the linebacker, and it was a 75-yard touchdown or whatever. I don't remember seeing that kind of defense. Is that a Jim Schwartz special? You have some Jim Schwartz experience in your life,
yeah.
That's not good defense.
Yeah. No, yeah, he presses like L2 or something sometimes, like in Madden. Like he'll be like, see what these guys are gonna do over here, slide him here. Like yeah, he just does some he just screams numbers, quarter, nickel, dime, and you're just like what? And everybody's confused, and it's like yeah.
All right, so this is Browns favored by 3. I think if Trevor Lawrence is there, the Jags might be favored. I think rightly people are afraid of the Boatyard, but if the Brown defense isn't the Brown defense. I don't know. What's your instinct here with Cleveland favored by 3?
I'm going to take the points. It's just too many. It's too mucky of a game.
Okay.
If it was under a kick, I might do it, just because the home field and like the weather's all gross. Right. But I kind of like Jacksonville's just like skill players for like a matriculation gross backup shut up. They just have all these little like you pick and peck kind of players, like which I think could help. They have like 7 slot players basically that I think are going to work here. So yeah,
except Christian Kirk, not one of them.
Yeah,
Jacksonville really super banged up, and I like Cleveland a lot here. I have to say.
Okay, there you go.
I'm trying to do the Jim thing where I talk up the other side and then I go, but I didn't do it very very well. But I just feel like what's the path to in bad weather against that defense on the road, loud stadium.
To wear teal. It's like,
what's the path to CJ Beathard getting double-digit points? Like, I think it's going to be gross. I think it'll be 16-3 or something. But I just, if it's Trevor Lawrence, I'm really wrong. But as of right now, I don't think it'll be. So I'm on the other side here. I'm going to be on the Browns. Rematch of just a game from a couple of weeks ago, or I guess 3 weeks ago. The Lions going to Chicago to play the Bears. And speaking of weather, and speaking of your stat that I didn't let you give last week about Jared Goff outside of domes, he's not going to be in a dome in this one. And, this just in. I mean, the Lions won that game last week in New Orleans, but it was like the least convincing win of your life. You're up 21-0, and you're ready to pound. And they kicked 4 field goals the rest of the game, and Jared Goff went back to looking bad. And like, if I'm a Lion fan, I have to admit some part of me has got to be thinking the magic is wearing off on Jared Goff. It's a really good roster around him, and he might be the reason things go south here.
Yeah, no, it's rough when your team's like, what are they, like 9-3, and you're just like checking like that, and but seriously, but you're checking like the Hendon Hooker updates. You're like, wait, what did Hendon Hooker do? He was 7 for what in 707 drills? Because that's really like that's where you are at that point, right? Like you're being held. It's like
I'm not crazy here. Am I like that? Goff really has not looked good for a month.
No, he's bad. He's been off. He's been like we talked about it with like Dave. Like he does seem like there's a lag. Like he's like a 2-second behind. Like he's watching the game in a bar in London. You know what I mean? He's like, oh, blitz. And it's like, you're in the game. What do you mean blitz? Like he's like, you're the guy. He's like, oh no, with that's crazy. That's crazy. He really has a delay. He's like watching Red Zone like illegally. And there's like a 2-second delay on his server. But yeah, that said, like I still like Detroit here.
Really?
Yeah, but to speak to
this one moved.
How they played last week. Yeah.
I should say this one moved to 3.5. Sorry, it's Lions favored by 3.5 on the road. Yeah.
That's okay. Yeah, it's like a little bit of respect. But I just trust the caffeine nicotine combo that their coach has going. So.
I don't. I think I'm on the Bears. I just remember the Bears should have won that game.
Yeah.
In Detroit.
It was mistake fest. It was a mistake fest by both sides. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, God, the last time we saw Justin Fields play, what am I doing? Like they won that game, but he didn't play very well. There's a lot of bad quarterbacks in the league. Justin Fields probably is one of them. The thing is, do you even think it matters what Justin Fields does the rest of the year? If you have Carolina's pick and it's the 1, you can't mess around. You have to get rid of Fields, don't you? Is he salvageable? Sure. I'd love it if the Patriots got him. But like you can't give up Caleb Williams and then be like, go ahead, Justin. Like I know it's been rough for 3 years, but I'm sure you'll figure it out. Like he might, but you can't.
No, Fields has to go somewhere. Like not the Jets because they'll ruin him. So somewhere fun. Yeah. Like even the Commanders. Yeah. I hate to say it, but something like that.
Yeah. Patriots. That's where he's going. Although he's not. Patriots are too dumb. I would take him. I'm going to be on the opposite side here. I'm going to be Bears plus 3.5. All right. Speaking of games we just saw the Seahawks 49ers on Thanksgiving, and it bleached our eyeballs. It hurt. And then Geno Smith comes out last week and plays one of the 5 best games of the season at quarterback. Maybe none of that anybody's played. Like he was awesome in that game. We were both dead wrong.
Yeah, 0 punts. Yeah, exactly.
Like 0 punts either way. So you got 2 weeks ago against the Niners, Geno looks horrible, and it looked like a continuation of how it had been all year, and we'd been piling on. And then that happens last week, and we look dumb for saying that we expected him to be horrible. How do you handicap? It is hard for a team in your division who knows you really well to beat you 2 out of 3 and to spank you, because to cover this point spread, it's 10.5. You have to spank them. That's hard. I think if Geno had been bad against the Cowboys last week, we would think, no, it's not that hard. It's pretty easy. But now you've got this new piece of data. Are you buying it? Are you needing to see it again out of Geno? What do you think?
It's just another meal at the most improved cafe. You know what I mean? And that's the problem when you eat at a restaurant where everything's being improved. You don't know what stage of improvement it's in. He's like, oh, the tuna, that wasn't ready. You know what I mean?
I understood. You
don't know what year it is.
I'm Captain America. I understood that reference.
No, but it's also it's most improved. It's just like his restaurant's philosophy is we're improving, and this meal might be really good, and you're like, damn, that was some really good stuff. And then the next time you're like, it wasn't that great. He's like, so we're working on it. That's Geno Smith. It's like we're working on it, okay? Geno Smith is the guy who's constantly redoing the stucco in your house, and you're like, I don't even want stucco. You know what I mean? It's just he's like, but it's looking to look better, okay?
Who are you? We're not even a contractor.
Stop. Yeah. Stop it. He's just putting beams everywhere, and and they're not even weight bearing. And I don't know what Geno's doing in my house, and I don't know why, but I'm going to continue to ride with Geno because this is too many points. I love this, but I trust Geno.
It's all right. I mean, I guess I do too. It's 10.5, and I'm going to be on Seattle also. But this is the mistake we made on Thanksgiving. The Niners just did. I think you're just mad at what the Niners did to the Eagles.
No. That was a dismantling. That was amazing. I do think there's a little bit it's not a hangover, but I think there's a little bit of we just took it all out on them, and they're still going to beat this team pretty well. But I mean, honestly, I think there's backdoor grossness all over this with this game. Just backdoor Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, upside down touchdown. You know what I
mean? The line last week was Seattle in Dallas getting 8.5, and now they're going to San Francisco and they're getting 9.5, or they're getting 10.5 rather.
10.5. That's enough for me.
Yeah, it feels right. It's just that we're just believing that Seattle's better than we thought they were going into the Dallas game, right? I mean, I think that has to be it. It's all about Geno. It's all about the most improved cafe.
I mean, there's going to be a Bobo touchdown here to wrap things up at the end, and you're just going to be I can't believe that I just made money on a man named Bobo. So.
All right, well, we're taking these points at 10.5, but I don't know. It doesn't feel right. Get this just in. That will not be my most confident of the week.
No.
The Vikings. It is going to be Josh Dobbs under center, despite the fact that the last time we saw the Vikings play, they shot themselves in many, many parts of their body with Josh Dobbs doing most of the trigger pulling. They're going to play Aiden O'Connell and your well-rested Las Vegas Raiders. I don't think this game is about the Raiders in the slightest. I think this game is about the Vikings. And if they had any other options coming out of that Bears game, I don't think Josh Dobbs would be the quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing, too, though, you have to say there's something about bald guys going to Las Vegas that are overconfident and, kind of probably underqualified. That's kind of what half of Vegas is. It's bald guys running around. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's just starting a company, fantasy nuts with a Z. But I think the real point here is that they don't have any outs. They played them the good vibes are over. Maybe some of those scrambles were just he didn't really know what to do, so he scrambled. You know what I mean? Some of those
Jefferson
plays,
being back. I mean, I will admit Jefferson being back can change the equation. It can. He's going to be open in a way that other guys aren't open. I get it.
Yeah. Also, just it's going to be Blitz City, and that's what they do. But I also think the Raiders might just be good at countering run blitzes, meaning that kind of thing. I think this actually might be a home run game in a weird way, in a ground way for Las Vegas. So yeah,
Josh Jacobs. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean the line is Vikings 3, and I can't do this with Josh Dobbs anymore. Too much for me too. If he proves me wrong and he stirs the, I spent the better part of a month thinking that the market was being way too cruel to the Vikings. Like, you're going to Atlanta and you're a 5.5 point underdog. Like, I thought all of that was like way overstated. And then suddenly everyone fell in love with Josh Dobbs, and now these lines feel wrong the other way. So yeah, we're on the same side here. Russell Wilson, great quarterback. Great. Not good, great, I've been told. He plays for the Denver Broncos, and his numbers look really good, and he's been kind of good for fantasy, so he's great as far as I can tell.
He recommends the blackened salmon. He's such a good guy, you know?
His Broncos are coming here to play the Chargers, and, I mean, here's the thing. I suppose there must just be a set of people who lack object permanence and cannot get it through their heads that the Chargers are not the same anymore. There's not the Chargers. It's not that team. Whether Austin Eckler's hurt or just doesn't want to catch passes, he's the Zach Wilson of catching passes. It's not the same offense. It's not the same team. I'm having a hard time understanding how the Chargers are favored over anybody.
I think it was one of those like switch movies of Disney movies when these guys went to Lambeau that like the Packers were like, we're the Chargers now, in the cool sense, and like now the Packers look kind of cool, and these guys look really boring. These guys look really boring. They look like they're just like powder blue. They look like an AFL team now. It doesn't look cool anymore. You know what I mean? It looks like you're trying to be a superhero, and it's not working. It's not working for me. You know what I mean? Like Boltman or whatever you're going for. Also, can I just say this line? I need to say it. It's just a masterpiece. It's perfect. It's like crafted. It's crafted by the gods. Like, it's just like, it's the ultimate, like, we don't know. These guys suck. Like, you know, like, so it's just beautiful.
I mean, beautiful. I'm kidding about Russell Wilson obviously not being good. People have now decided he's good, right? That's going to be the new narrative. And if you're watching these Bronco games, they are terrified of him. He gets to throw like 3 or 4 deep balls to Cortland Sutton a game, and otherwise it's like, just Russ, please get out of your hands. Please throw 1-yard passes. Please check it down. Please, like, they're terrified of him. He had, I think, 12 completions deep into the fourth quarter of that game, and they're in that game, right? They're not ahead. I don't love it, but yeah, the Chargers are legitimately terrible.
They're always like ready to do the worst thing, and it's just I'm relying on that, like just the worst thing possible. They're like, all right, they'll get like 2nd and 1, and then they'll be like, all right, let's do 2 power runs with Austin Eckler and see what happens. And then all of a sudden, it's like 3rd and 6, and you're like, how do we get here? And then they throw it to Austin, and then they throw it to Keenan Allen, their only option, 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage. And then they're just like, what just happened? And then they show Brandon Staley, and it's just like cut, repeat.
Yeah, it's fair. I mean, I will say, like, last week isn't really what I'm talking about because they looked at the Bailey Zappi Patriots and said, oh, we don't need to do anything cool, you know. But like,
and they didn't.
Pat Doherty, they really didn't. Pat Doherty was on the podcast and was like, did you see the another Quentin Johnston drop? Did you see the 2 Donald Parham drops? Like, they suck. Like, I like Denver here.
Pat had a great tweet too. He said, "How is Quentin Johnston not a Patriots draft pick?" So.
it stings, but it's absolutely true. How are he and Tyquan Thornton not related? That's absolutely fair. All right, the last line that I'm going to give you a last second change up on is a game I actually want to spend some time talking about because you mentioned it off the top. It's Bills Chiefs. That line since we talked has moved more in the Bills' favor. This line is now Kansas City at home favored by 1.5. As you may know, 1.5 is essentially the estimate now of what home field is worth, and clearly the Chiefs have a very, very good home field. I asked Pat about this on the podcast on Monday. I got to ask you about it. You were watching the last 5 minutes of the Chiefs-Packers game, and you saw, like, let's call it 4 unbelievable officiating howlers. Which is the one that you found the most comical?
Wait, so this was the Packers game.
This is the MVS interference. This is the
Patrick
Mahomes getting hit out of bounds. This is the progress.
It was the early hit. It was the early hit out of bounds because Mahomes was like in bounds by like a full 1.5 yards, and it was just amazing, and it was completely legal. And he was taking his time, like sauntering to the set, like to get that extra yard, and that was completely football, and it wasn't dirty at all. And the guy didn't even lay into him. That was the worst one. That was the worst. Like that was the most legislated out of what play like that one.
But I mean that was
It was an early late hit. It was an early late hit. It was.
It was funny. It was funny. The interference probably wasn't funny. It was just pass interference, right? I'm gonna say the funniest one, and unfortunately, like it was a woman, a lines person, right? And so, like, I imagine she probably got extra crap because of that. She doesn't need any more extra crap for being in that job. I feel bad, but she did a bad job on that one play,
Right.
and they had no timeouts. And you see that play 100 times out of 100 on the left sideline. I can't remember, was it Rashee Rice? I actually don't remember the Chiefs player,
Right.
but he was stopped, and then he started running backwards so he could get out of bounds. You got to wind the clock there. And she comes over and she gives him it's this chef's kiss. It's just like, and Pat said this on the podcast, if those two calls hadn't have been so insanely bad, they probably call the pass interference. Right? But the referees are sitting there going like, oh, we've screwed this up so bad. Oh, here's a way we cannot we cannot make it biased, right? So the Chiefs got really hosed on that one. It was really bad. All right, so anyway, the Chiefs and the Bills, boy, are they truth in advertising. Boy, do we want them to be something they just are not.
Yeah, exciting, consistent. Well, I'll say this: the Chiefs are consistently unexciting, and they're in the same game every week. They're in the same game every week. They're in a 24-17, 24-21 burner, and then it comes down to it's like the field position Olympics. Andy Reid feels a lot more like early 2000s Andy Reid, like everything down to he's kicking everywhere now. Like no matter what, it's like third and 7. He's like get in the middle for the kick. It's like, what do you mean? Like it's 3rd and 7. So like the conservatism is really there. The thing with this Bills team is I wanted to pick them. It's just this line getting shrinkier and shrinkier. It's just so I know you're not asking me to pick the game, but my point is that I do have these vibes that I think outright I want Buffalo to take this. But they're just so inscrutable. They're a very tough team to read, this Josh Allen team. And they've lost more than the Chiefs have. They've lost more of their identity with their defense, with White and Milano, and with Von Miller when his stuff, but also even like when he was there, he was bad. So like they've lost more of their sheen to me than like the Chiefs have. The Chiefs are just like boring.
Yeah, this is ghost DeAndre Hopkins' game. This is like DeAndre Hopkins should have been traded,
right?
And he should have gone to one of these two teams. Right,
yes.
And we would probably think dramatically different things, especially the Chiefs. But the Bills too, they're throwing to Khalil Shakir.
If Mike
in,
Evans
like, huge
is
spots.
on the Bills, right?
Yeah,
If Mike Evans,
I mean, so like they're frustrating teams. I'll say probably the Bills have it for excitement because Josh Allen is a maniac. The last memory we have of Josh Allen is playing against your Eagles and hoisting that team, just entirely like. Cam Newton, basically being Cam Newton, street ball.
Yes.
And like doing everything to win that game and then having the kicker make like a 58-yarder right against him. But I can't see it. I'm done expecting either of these teams to be anything other than they've been for 3 months, and that to me means the Chiefs win by a field goal.
Yeah, that's why like it bothered me that I wanted it to be spicier. So when it goes even down further, I had this -3 Chiefs, so I'm just gonna do it. It's boring, but I just feel exactly that's who they are. There's gonna be some guy like named Butker just kicking, like just. Yeah.
All right, the Eagles have not played a game in the last 14 days, as far as I know. That's what Jim has told me.
Double bye is what they call
second
it.
bye last week.
You get an automatic loss for it, but it's like you just let it happen. Like,
They're going down to Dallas, and once again, it feels like a disrespect line because the Cowboys are favored, and when these teams played in Philly, I believe Philly won. It was a good game. It was a close game, but in the end, Dak did Dak. Dak Prescott or Jalen Hurts for MVP as of right now?
I would still take Jalen. I just think he's more of their identity. Like this guy's really good. This Dak guy, but I think that what Jalen does is more impose his will on you with just the physicality, and I think that's going to be again here. But yeah, like. Well, we can talk about this. What's your actual questions about this one? I
mean, I'll answer my own question. I think Jalen Hurts is the MVP right now. I'm not sure. I think who would win. Dak has had more high profile success more recently, right? This past week. That sometimes that's how people judge these things, and I understand Dak's stock should be going up because he's been playing great. But I think I'd still be on Jalen, and I guess my question really is like. Do you think this kind of line, where the Cowboys are 3.5-point favorites at home against Philly, Do you think this is Vegas telling you that they know something about Hurts being hurt? Because he did leave the game last week while it was still a game. We got some Marcus Mariota. Do you feel like this comes down to maybe Hurts not being right?
Yeah, no Mariota, don't do it. Yeah, no, seriously, don't do it. Mariota should be painting houses, like really nice ones, like his own house, like some Benjamin Moore. But the thing is that I'm scared a little bit about the injury thing with Hurts. But I think this line would be out of control if they really thought that. I think this speaks more to this Philly defense and how do you pick them apart, and they can't stay off. Somebody said they've been screaming third downs for 30 straight years of the Eagles and it never seems to work. It's true. Getting off the field is tough in this league. Right now, this team has a real problem with that. The Eagles, getting off the field. You saw it last week. They got misdirection to death. You saw it with the Chiefs last year. The Eagles have a little of an old school thing with misdirections going on, and I think they're getting pantsed a little bit by the league. I think you're going to see it this week again with Dallas. So I don't love our offensive coordinator. Don't love the Eagles' offensive coordinator. Yeah, don't love our offensive coordinator. But I love this line. I have the Eagles favored in this one. So.
Oh, you did it. We got the McCormick switcheroo. I was afraid we weren't going to get it this week. But yes, you are going to be on the Eagles. I thought you might pick against them.
They're going to beat them up front. Beat them up. Street fight.
I'm going to take the points too. I'm with you. I'm going to pretend last week didn't happen. If the Cowboys can prove that they're smart enough and tough enough to win a game against the Eagles, then I will have been wrong. But it is not.
The 49ers lost to P.J. Walker. Okay, come on. Everybody gets a mulligan. All right. So.
Yeah, I mean, the first quarter of that game was I felt so smart.
Chess, yeah. I
mean, I was like, oh, this is exactly how it's going to go. The Eagles are just tougher and better, and they're going to impose their will. And then, whoops, it didn't go so good. All right,
the other thing happened.
We've got the 2 Monday night games this week and they're going to be at the same time, which is NFL is just they absolutely know what they're doing, don't they? The Packers, boy, I mean, if we're going to say Geno Smith had one of the best quarterback games of the year last week, I think Jordan Love did too against the Chiefs. He played absolutely great in that game. And unlike Geno, I do feel like on this show we've been saying that we've been seeing it coming, that we've seen glimpses where at the ends of games, and he had been pretty good the previous week. And I'm not totally shocked the way I was about Geno. This is why I took the Packers in that game. They're going to Gotham, and Tyrod Taylor's not ready to go, and so it's going to be some dude who should probably not be in the NFL and maybe likes chicken parm subs. The problem you have here is that the Packers are a really, really, really young team. They said it over and over again on Sunday night last week, and the concern is they start reading their own clippings, right?
Yeah, you don't want to read the clippings. You don't want to do that, especially they don't have many newspapers in Wisconsin. So when the ones that the ones that do come out, they're shiny and you're happy. But
you get blinded because they're shiny clippings.
Yeah, they have to put shiny because of the snow. It's a thing up there. It's a reflection thing.
Snow blindness.
Yeah, exactly. It's like an Al Pacino movie. But yeah, the Packers are really good now, and Jordan Love just does this thing where he's got this guy who's actually put together a pretty good season overall, but his misses have been on this grand stage. So he's, to go back to the golf analogy, he's the guy who on Sunday just completely drinks it, puts it in the water over and over and over. You're this is who this guy is. And that's what his style was this year. He was leading the league in fourth quarter turnovers, which that's bad. That's a bad thing, guys. That's bad. To have 7 fourth quarter turnovers. So he lost all these high leverage moments, but he also his team was there. He was in a lot of good games. He hasn't played his way out of games, say the way Jared Goff has, where it's 7 high level mistakes in a row. Which is sometimes Detroit overcomes those, and it's incredible. I'm still in Detroit this week somehow. But I think Love is doing something here. I think there is something actually happening here. And I think having Dante Calzone or whoever it is for the Giants is going to be a problem. So, yeah.
Can we clip that? Can we please clip that, Dante Calzone?
Carl Pizza.
Clip the part where I tell you to clip it, too. That'd be great. So I absolutely agree with you that one of these teams is trying to win and one probably isn't. But I'm going to be on Green Bay here because I just don't want to make the mistake in the other direction. But the NFL does work in mysterious ways, and it's a lot for a team this young, coming off a Giant win, not a New York Giant win, to then be giving 6.5 on the road. That's a lot. I had it at 7. When I put it at 7, I actually thought I was going to be on the Giants.
And they're going to blitz their face off too, like they are. They're still going to be the Giants, like in that way. But yeah, it's just I believe enough. Like I've always been on this Giants team for I just was earlier this year, and I guess I'm back on them. I guess having a running back, a 30-year-old running back, doesn't matter as much as I thought. Who knew?
I mean, I fully understand. You're saying you're on the Giants here. You're going to take the points.
No. I'm giving the points. What? I was saying I like the Packers. I like the Packers.
You gave me you said you like the Giants all year.
I said I like the Packers all year, didn't I?
No, you didn't. Rewind the tape.
I like the Packers all year. I don't like the Giants all year. The Giants are terrible. They're a bunch of meatballs. Get out of here.
Now that I think about it, you haven't liked the Giants all year, but you did say that you did. But we're on the same side here. We're both willing to give the points. All right, and then lastly, poor Derrick Henry, concussed, although not concussed, and now not in the protocol, and supposedly will play against the Dolphins. I wish I could report that watching these Tennessee Titan games that Will Levis is more exciting than Ryan Tannehill. I guess he's a little more exciting.
He is.
How much? Very little. How much more exciting is he than Ryan Tannehill?
He's like if you gave Ryan Tannehill like live flares. Like he runs around, he is insane. He's ridiculous. He's like if a game went from, and Dave knows what I'm talking about. It's like a game went from like a teen rating to a mature rating. It's like we have guns like stuff now. Like I'm not to nominate that, but like we went full mature content.
I think it's if Ryan Tannehill got frosted tips. That's how exciting it is to see. It's a little more exciting.
It's like if Tannehill had like one hit single and then just got out of control. You know what I mean? Like divorce.
See, I don't think it's out of control. Crazy. My point is that it's very little difference in excitement because they're just not. They're not built.
He recovered his own fumble and ran in for a touchdown. That was just like the Lattimore bonehead. Lattimore starting defense, smash a head, break a mug with your head. He's just really exciting. So
you think Levis is exciting?
He threw an interception, recovered his own fumble off of that, and then ran a touchdown in. That was ridiculous. It was barbarian.
Wait, it wasn't a touchdown. It was just it's at midfield against the Colts.
He thought it was a touchdown.
Oh, he thought it was a touchdown. All right. So. Well, I'm glad you're privy to Will Levis's thoughts in ways that I'm not. But my feeling is that Will Levis is not that much more exciting than Ryan Tannehill, and I wish the offense was more swashbuckling, but it's really pretty much not, and boring. And they're probably going to try to bore the Dolphins. If I know Mike Vrabel, he's going to just try to slow it way, way down. I don't know if he'll succeed. It's an awfully big spread. The Dolphins are favored by 13.
It's too many. It's too many for me. Yeah. Too many. It's really tough to go to Miami and not get frosted tips like we talked about. And the Titans, they are bad. But they're frisky weirdos. They're good against the run like we talked about. I don't think that matters that much in this one. It's just they're going to get killed by Tyreek Hill at least 4 times. It's just a matter of
it being too many points. That's fine.
Too many points. Yeah, I just think it's too soft, and I think Levis is going to do a couple weird, cheap touchdowns, and it's going to be a backdoor glory. So.
All right, I'm not going to do, but I'm going to go front door glory here. I'm going to go I'll take the Dolphins. It's too many points. It's not like me, but I just don't want to be. I don't want to be watching another one of these games and going, maybe Tyreek Hill won't score 8 touchdowns, and then I'll look smart. It just never happens.
Levis is getting a halftime touchdown. I mean tattoo, rather, and a touchdown.
Halftime touchdown. We have a very big disagreement, probably the biggest in the history of the show, in how exciting Will Levis is. He's
so bad he's good. It's good. It's really good.
Tannehill with frosted tips. Mark my words. Tannehill with frosted tips. All right, not that he has. All right, anyway, we're to the point in the show where Dave laughs in our ears because we're idiots, and then we pick our most confident game, the one we like the absolute best. Jim, I have to admit, I don't remember who you picked as your best last week. I had Houston again, and this time it worked out. I'm not.
I had the Lions.
You had the Lions. Did that work out?
Jared Goff in a dome. He covered. Yeah, he covered.
Jared Goff in a dome. There you go. I think I didn't even bet that game right. That was a push for me. All right, so what's your favorite this week?
It is the Philadelphia Eagles. They're just gonna bounce these guys out of Dallas. They're gonna just destroy them. We're gonna send them to San Antonio, and they're gonna rethink their careers. So yeah.
Despite all the reasons you gave us why they're going to lose the game.
Yeah, they're not going to lose it though. They're
I
terrible
know.
at certain things.
You gave us
They're
a lot of
terrible at
reasons that
certain
they
things.
will, but they won't.
I gave everything they're bad at because I wanted to talk about that. So yeah.
I'm on the same side of that one as you. It's just not going to be my favorite. My favorite is one that we're on the opposite sides of. So I'm truly going to be a horse's patootie. Dave Pyper. Yeah. Come on down, Dave Pyper. I don't see Jacksonville scoring a touchdown in this game. I'm going to take the Browns and feel pretty good about it. -3 for Cleveland. But you know what? What we really want to know. Four safeties. What we want to know is what your most fun and confident game is, or just tell us what made you laugh. That's what we would love. Can we get like 50 comments on this video? Because we know we have at least 50 people watching. One thing in this show that made you laugh. It was probably something Jim said because Jim's hilarious. Just down in the comments on this YouTube page, please type it in or tell us a game that you are very confident in, and that will be lovely. We would love it. I think we reached the end, Jim. Are you happy?
Yeah, we're there. I mean, I just feel like we should have talked more about how good the Eagles are, but I forgot about that part. So, yeah.
All right, Jim. Well, you're great. I appreciate you doing it. Dave Pyper, you're also great. All of the various Pipers are fantastic. They're not all listening now, but eventually they all see this show, and we love you. We love you, Pipers. Thank you all for watching. Thank you to DraftKings, because without DraftKings, we would have had no show, and that we like doing the show, so we're very glad DraftKings is around. Use that code HarrisTube if you do sign up. That would be wonderful. All right, that's it for Dave, for all the Pipers, for Jim. I'm Chris. Thanks for watching. Thanks so much for watching. Please, please, please smash that like button, write a comment, tell us who else you'd like to see us review film on, and of course, best of all, please subscribe to our channel and then click that little bell above the subscribe button, and you'll be notified whenever we post a new video.